with April and Anjali. Today we have Jenny Tarwater joining us, and we're doing a self-care check-in.
Hi, Jenny. So nice to have you on our show. Thank you for accepting this invitation.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, and happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
So Jenny, earlier we talked about like the blues and how a lot of people have been having that. So that brings us to self-care. How are you doing self-care right now?
Today, at this moment, great. Ask me again this afternoon and you might get a different answer. Ask me a week ago, you might have gotten a different answer. I think there are way more high and low points that are coming in this, I don't know what to call it, the in-between time, this time that we're all kind of doing things and kind of pausing, and some of us are doing amazing, crazy things that are just awesome and delivering value into the world, and some of us are binging Netflix for a week at a time, and I think all that's okay.
Yeah. So what's happening this morning that makes you feel like you're doing okay?
You are, right? I've been doing a lot of thinking lately about these labels of extrovert and introvert, and how much that, for me, that perception has changed in this virtual online world. So for those that know me, I'm a raging extrovert, right? I have huge fear of missing out. You tell me something's going on, whether it's a conference, a party, a meetup, or whatever it is, and I want to be there, right? And I enjoy them so much, and I'm energized by the people and all kinds of excitement. And I'm not getting that same thing virtually. The 75 people in a Zoom is overwhelming to me, and I can't process it, and I don't get energized, I get drained. These smaller, closer conversations are where I'm getting my energy, where I'm getting my joy, where I'm getting my learning, where I'm getting all of the things. And even text messages in a different way, I think, than previously.
Yeah. So regular check-ins in all formats, and then with one-on-one with people is kind of helping you out. It's funny, I am the other end of the spectrum and very much an introverted person. I enjoy people. I enjoy being in conversation with people, but not big groups. I never quite enjoyed it. But what's interesting is in this time, I'm experiencing similar things to you, in the fact that those one-on-one conversations incredibly rich, and the large virtual conversation just not doing it for me. But what I'm missing out is the opportunity to just run into somebody and develop those deeper relationships that we could do when we were in person in those larger conferences, or sometimes like the person sitting down next to you on an airplane. So even for an introvert, it's funny, extrovert or introvert, we still seem to have the same needs right now.
And for me, I'm an ambivert. Is that I can be in groups, but that's not necessarily what energizes me. What energizes me is that time by myself at the end of the day, and just being able to journal, just be alone with my thoughts. And just like all of you, experiencing something different. Like I need the connection of people. I miss, you both know I love to hug and human touch. I miss human touch. Um,
I know. The April, I call it the April hug because every so often we're going to do this for each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just for people to know, I kind of created this hug at the beginning of the pandemic. And just saying cross our arms together and just squeeze tight. And it's a way that I've been just kind of feel that comfort, that absence of a hug.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a one form of self-care for myself.
Yeah. I've been wondering, like, with all of the changes that have been happening, it kind of feels like we're experiencing, like you said, Jenny, I feel differently in the morning versus the afternoon versus the evening, one day to the next. Is there something that we can do to kind of make that a little more even throughout, and from your experience?
Well, what just came up for me when you said that was I'm wondering if the goal is to even it out. I mean, there's been a couple of times lately that I've gotten to a kind of dark place. I had a few pretty bad things happen in a row, and it was a rough couple of weeks and things. But my husband was wonderful, and he's like, you have to feel it. Feel the pain. Feel the loss, feel the sorrow. It makes the high points even better. So I do want to recognize, that there are obligations that we have and things we have to do, right? And so you have to figure out a way to temper that and figure out when you can have some of that time for the highs and the lows and such. And I think one of the other things that's happened for me in this time is really slowing down, like a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as much as April and her wonderful keynote a couple of days ago at the Women in Agile Europe, which showed me the power and potential of slowing down even more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
April took a group of about 100 people through a very slow, deliberate, what do I call it, a conversation? It felt like a conversation, meditation, and it was such a gift.
Mm. She has that way about her.
Yeah.
But that's so hard for so many of us. Mm-hmm. That slowing down, I think you hit that on the head, Jenny. It's feeling okay to slow down. That it is okay. That it is okay to stop and take a little bit of care of yourself. Like, these last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so many of us have been experiencing a little extra, case of the blues, if you want to call it that.
Right.
A little low point, and you can't engage in the same way that you did before. And almost sometimes for me has felt like I'm failing, or I'm not bringing some. But what is needed is that acceptance of that it is okay to slow down. It is okay to take time for yourself. It is okay to feel. And I'm glad. Thank you for giving me that additional perspective. That it is okay to feel it fully, even the sad parts and the bad part, so that you can feel those highs in a much more meaningful way. But I think that there's habits that we can develop, so it doesn't feel like sometimes when you're in that low point, you don't know how to come out of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. One of the things that you did for me, Anjali, and you do it ever so often, is that you're very good at retrospecting and doing a self-check. Like, how many things have I added to my bucket?
Yeah.
And where do I need to remove things? It's not like you don't like it or care about it. but you can only have so much. And and learning that in this time right now, that like what is full is completely different than it was in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that and it's always helped me to just take breath. I have taken my calendar and schedule where I blocked out chunks of time and saying, hey, like midweek Wednesday, I need to end my day at this time and just be with my family, be out in nature, like to walk outside of this tree house
Yeah.
and just be there. And Friday just need to end at this time and also cut off different things and not work at all. And I'll get tempted, and my mind is learned. I've trained it to say no. Anytime I think that I may want to try to step in and do a little bit, it's like, no, this is my point. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I've started doing that as well, though it's a little more difficult for me. I need like a zapper to say, as soon as I've blocked off my time and something else comes in and I want to say yes to it, I need like a zap to say, what did you just do? Jenny, do you have any tips on kind of creating that space to slow down?
Yeah. I was thinking of a couple of different angles on that. One is if I think of Diana Larson's circles and soup, right? What can you control? What can you influence? What do you have no control over? I'm spending much less time in the influence and cannot control spheres and really focusing on what I can control. And I mean, obviously there's a lot we cannot control right now. And so I think just giving into that, I don't know what my kid's school is going to be like in January. I don't know for sure what my job's going to be like, in June or next week. I mean, there's just so much unknown, and getting really comfortable in that. And I am such a planner, right? I don't get upset when plans change, but I do like to have the plan, right? So that I can adjust quickly to it and weigh options and such. And so kind of off-brand, I'm doing a lot of things that are off-brand. I'm not planning, I'm not doing as much socializing, I'm not saying yes to everything. I'm organizing less conferences, I'm doing, going to less training, I'm doing a lot less of the things that I think, I don't want to say define me, but really were major parts of who I am. And that's allowed me to slow down and such. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, right?
So Jenny, could you tell us, because recently you did something, like spur of the moment with your family, like you just picked up and you guys left. Like, tell us about that. What did that do for you?
Yeah, so we were in our house, the three of us, my 10-year-old, my husband and I, all working from home and schooling from home, or, this summer, I think my daughter was just, let's call it TikToking from home. We went and visited my aunt in Atlanta because they were also very COVID careful like we were. And they have a whole basement that we could live in for a week. And we did school and work from there just for a change of scenery, and driving through the country and showing the 10-year-old all kinds of different historic spots and connecting that really to the social studies that she was studying at the time. It was very rejuvenating. Very nice.
Isn't it amazing how taking a drive is attractive again?
Right. Well, and I was trying to think, because I was having a lot of mom guilt about, choosing the completely online option. There were some of her kids in school that were getting to do things she wasn't getting to do and stuff. So I said, what could we do that being 100% online enables? Like, how can we amplify the good there? And that's what gave us the idea of we can work in school from the road. So yeah, I think I was in a hotel room in St. Louis for a conference with April along that route. And yeah, it was great. I would recommend it if you have the ability to work in school from the road. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit stressful with, connectivity and, where's the right books and, I wish I had my standing desk and all the kind of good stuff. But it was definitely worth it.
Another awesome perspective to take. What can we do in this time that normally would not have been available to us? Right. And kind of to make the best use of this this interesting time that we find ourselves in.
I definitely see there's at this time just to experiment with nature, like rethinking about road trips and getting and preparing for that. For us, it's easy because with an electric car and just charging and just kind of unpacking stuff, you can be a lot of low touch. Or when we went the other week, we were like, oh, it's hot outside. It's 75 degrees for us Michiganders. And we went to the beach and got in the water. Well, everybody else would say that's too cold. But just being okay, doing geocaching or hikes, all those things can give you breath right now, and just connecting with nature and yourself.
Totally. Awesome. Well, Jenny, thank you. Thank you for giving us some insights on how you are dealing with this time and caring for yourself and your family, and some tips on what we can do as well, taking different perspective. Any last words that you want to leave with us?
Yeah, I do. Since our topic is checking in and self-care, if you're thinking about someone, just send them the text, send them the email, send them the DM on Twitter, whatever it is, and let them know. Not that I want to put anything on anybody's to-do list, but just that 10 seconds of effort pays so much. April, I sent you one way later than is probably, socially acceptable. But I was thinking about you, and I just wanted you to see that when you woke up, right? And so if you're thinking about it, do it. If you're thinking about making that connection, let somebody know that you're thinking about them right now.
And I have to tell you that is helpful. I get that from you, Anjali, when you're like those little notes.
Yeah. And all it has to say is, I'm thinking about you, because you are, right? Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for that. And if you out there liked these unscripted conversations with our friends, then like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook, and you'll be alerted when we go live again. And hope to see you in the next episode of Live with April and Anjali. See you soon. And happy Thanksgiving.